Hey everyone, it's Tammy. Welcome back to the channel. I'm here to help you take the next step to create the life that you want. And a lot of what we want comes down to money. So today we're going to flip through the newest A5 Spiral Budget Planner that's on the market to see if it may or may not be the type of budget planner you're looking for. You may have big goals for the holiday season or the new year, and you may be looking for a simple solution to keep track of all of that information. Let's do a full flip through to see all the details that are in this planner, and then let's compare it to a couple of similar options that are out there. If you have any questions when this video is over, please leave them in the comments below. You can find me most days on Instagram at Tammy Skipper. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, would you go ahead and do that real quick? Okay, let's jump into the planner. As I mentioned, you may have big goals for your financial plans for the holiday season for 2021, or if you're watching this video at a later time, you may just be looking for options to really keep track of your finances for your goals. And I hope that you will find this video helpful. I do want to just make a quick note here at the beginning of the video that you may have noticed I have not promoted this brand a lot on my channel in the last few months, and I have a lot of reasons behind that. But I just want to say that I love the CEO of this brand, Tanya, and the two individuals who primarily work with affiliates like myself, Samantha and Tori. These ladies have done a phenomenal job of keeping the community informed about the changes that are going on with the brand. And if you are not interested in purchasing from this brand for whatever reason, you may want to click away from the video, or you may find something useful in here to incorporate in your own budgeting system. If you choose to purchase from the affiliate link that will be in the description below, I just want you to know that I personally have made the decision that any of those affiliate sales proceeds to me as an affiliate are going to go to a charity related to Black Lives Matter. So just know that from the get-go, and let's get into the planner. This is the A5 Coiled Budget book from the Erin Condren brand. And you only have this one cover option, coil option, and so on. It is a rose gold coil with a very beautiful dark teal background with the rose gold waves or layers pattern, and then it just says budget book. So that is the only option at the time of this filming. You do not get to personalize the cover or choose your coil color. So just so you know that. But let's go ahead and start flipping through. So this starts with a place for your name, like most planners, and it does have the same paper that you may be familiar with in the Life Planner and other planners from the company. What starts to change here is you get specifically budgeting tools. So you have instructions about your big picture, monthly tracking, other trackers that will be in the back of the book. Then you go right into the pages. So you have kind of a vision area here at the beginning, and there's a follow-up section towards the back. So you have plenty of options here. I do kind of wish instead of this being just plain open space that it was dot grid or lined, or maybe a mix of those things. It just is so much easier, especially with anything related to money, to just have very, I guess, the framework already in place. So that's my, dislike about the big open space. You may feel differently. You could also use this as sort of a vision board. So you don't necessarily have to write words or figures or anything like that. You could certainly use pictures and think about this section in that way. So you have something for how you currently feel, how you want to feel about your finances, your main goal for using this book, which I think is important to think about, and then other ways you may want to use the book, and then 3 big picture goals. Just to give you a tip, I really do suggest that something like this be much longer term than the next 6 months or the next year. Really ask yourself, what does retirement look like to you? What kind of home do you want to have? What do you want for your children, for their education, things like that. So just keep that in mind. This really could be a place for thinking long term. Then you immediately turn into one of 12 sections. One of the things about this book, it is not dated in any way. It does have 12 sections, so it certainly is sort of pre-set up for monthly for a year. You do have a place to put dates and important days for the month. Now that part is labeled, so it is really going to be specific to, the monthly concept. Then you have future purchases and bills and savings goals, and then kind of the throwback to a few years ago in the regular planners where there were 3 circles for, originally those were for goals. Then you have your month at a glance or budget at a glance, whatever you want to label it. But this 2-page spread is basically the only thing sort of preset for a budget. They have put categories down: entertainment, food, savings, income, housing, transportation, utilities, and health and debt. But they have not put down individual things. So for instance, in food, you do not have groceries, eating out, whatever other things you might have in there. That being said, the downside to this is that's a lot of lines for food, and utilities, but I don't know. I think something like this gives some framework for some people, but you may find that you want to use this for a different category. So for example, you may want to make this section food and just track weekly grocery purchases or something like that. And then this may need to be kid-related items. Or maybe it needs to be your personal spending money. Or maybe you have more health expenses and you need a bigger place or more space for health. Whatever the case is, because the titles are written pretty small, then you certainly have the place to, white that out or put another little sticker there and then make the category whatever you want. So something to think about. At the bottom, you do have total income, total expenses, the difference, and your total savings. So they have done a good job of giving you an overview, a framework, without it being very, very specific. Then you turn into your spending summary. So you have date, description, category, and total. So this would be like on the 1st, you went to Publix if you're in the South, or maybe Kroger if you're in the Midwest, and then your category, so groceries, and then the total that you spent. And this is literally like flashback to the checkbook register for my old school peeps. But basically literally just tracking what you spend all in one place. If you follow the budget mom, or she's not the only one, but anybody who has you just keep track of your expenses and then categorize them later, you may want to highlight. So green may be for groceries, and purple may be for your personal expenses, orange may be for eating out, red may be for fuel, gas, that kind of thing. And then you would write down your expenses, and then once you've totaled up that category, you highlight that color so that you have an idea of what you've spent total in the category. So you have the really 2 pages here, 2 more here, 2 more here. So you have 6 total pages. So you certainly have room for at least a page every single week plus overflow, or you could break this out into categories. So if you're trying to really just hone in on how much you're spending in a few different categories, so maybe one is groceries, one is eating out, one is your healthcare expenses, one is your clothing, or those types of things, you could do that. So you have the page that has the tab, has your important days of the month and your kind of dashboard page. Then you have the budget spread, and then you have the 6 pages for tracking. That pattern repeats for every single month for 12 months with just different colored tabs. These are not labeled, but they are laminated, so they're going to be very sturdy. You could certainly use a regular label maker to put your own labels here. And then what you want to think about though is you're not getting a monthly view, like a calendar. So if you use a monthly calendar to keep track of your bills, what days they're due, this is really the tool that you have to replace that. So you may just want to put this as 1 through 31, and keep track of your bills and then maybe highlight them once they're actually paid. Something like that. That's how I would recommend replacing that if you really want all the other features of this planner. So as I mentioned, that's your monthly view or monthly layout, and then that repeats 12 times. It does follow like a rainbow pattern, so you have the deeper kind of cranberry, almost plum, and then you have this pink, orange, gold or mustard color, mint, like a Kelly green, a teal. Then you have this very aqua blue, I would say. Well, this one is more of a dark, dark, dark teal, more blue, but closer to that. And then, I don't know, you guys tell me. That's almost like a bright blue, and I guess this would be the teal. Okay, we're overthinking. Navy, and then kind of that indigo in between blue and purple, royal purple or a dark purple kind of plum. That's your 12-month color scheme, so it's just a rainbow color scheme. And then when you get to the end of that 12th month and you get to the last of your spending pages, then you turn into your 12-month check-in. So just like at the front, you have how you currently feel, how you want to feel about your finances, but then you move into the progress you've made in the whole 12 months, progress you've made with savings, and progress you've made with paying down debt. Things that work to keep my financial goals on track. So you're really asking yourself what worked, and this section is for your spending. So this would be more about your goals, your vision, the things you had wanted to accomplish, and then this section is more about how in the details, like in the week or the month, you really kept your spending on track. Then you go into moving forward and looking ahead. What do you want to do moving forward? And then what pivots or adjustments to make for the next 12 months. So you've thought about what worked, you've thought about what you want to do going forward, and then here's where you start to be specific about how you want to adjust things. Do you want to set up an automatic draft to go to your savings account every time you get paid? Do you want to set up a separate account and put money away for Christmas every week or every month? You can really get very detailed and practical here. The next tab, so you have your tabs for the 12 months, that's it, that's the only tab so far, and then you have this tab which says trackers. So this is the only printed tab, and that turns into a savings tracker, another savings tracker. This repeats that initial color scheme, that first color. So 3 of those, and then 3 debt trackers, again, another color from earlier in the color scheme. They've simplified the choices at this point, so it kind of follows a rainbow order, but it doesn't have all the same colors as the 12 months. It skips a couple, basically. So you have a debt tracker. Let me go back and show you how many. So you had 3 savings trackers, and then 1, 2, 3 layouts for the debt trackers as well. And again, you could make it 6 total, or you could use this for 1 debt. I mean, all 6 pages, whatever you need. Then you have a wish list tracker. I really, really like that this is in here, and you can even mark if you bought it or not. I think this is also a great place to keep, gift giving ideas. So you have this 2-page spread for the wish list tracker, another 2 pages, and another 2 pages. I think that's more than enough for your personal use throughout the year, hopefully. A really practical way to use this is to make yourself wait 24 to 48 hours or even a week before you make a purchase on something you like. We don't always do a good job of that in the planner community. Something launches, we get excited and we want it right away. But this is a really good way to reach financial goals, is to just really give a pause before you spend the money you've worked really hard to get. Then you have a special occasion budget tracker. This is the kind of thing that makes you realize what a year 2020 has been, because we think of holiday parties right now, or we maybe think of weddings, or we think of our kid's birthday party, or some other thing that isn't going to happen every month or every year, and really setting aside and planning the budget for it. But those are also the things that we're probably not doing, or not doing as much, or not doing it as big as we would if it was any other year. So If you want to use this for a different way besides a special occasion like a party, you could use this for planning a trip, even if that trip is just to take your individual family somewhere and go camping and be outdoors. This could be used for something like
a home improvement project, possibly, where you think you have an idea of what the budget is going to be, but you need to be able to keep track of it and make adjustments as the project goes on. So just think about this beyond parties and events and gatherings. That would be my tip. Same thing, 3 spreads of that, so 6 pages total. Then you have some dot grid. Now you just have a little bit, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides of dot grid paper, then just a quote, and coiled in stickers. So these are the same stickers in just a different color scheme that you might have seen in the individual sheets for the last few years, for the Petite planners and so on. And they are coiled in, and there is no pocket inside this planner. So that is another drawback to me. No pocket means this isn't the kind of budget planner where you can stick the bills throughout the week until you sit down and make sure you've paid everything. So my personal recommendation would be something like an OliClip. That's a really, really strong clip. I'll leave a link to that shop below, and you may be able to just clip those in on your monthly tab until you get to them. You can also get just a planner band, an elastic band, and keep it around it, so if you tuck anything in the front, it's going to keep everything closed. That would be another possibility. Now that we have flipped through the whole thing, I want to talk about the similarities and differences to the Petite Budget Planner. So let's just flip to a month here in the planner. And I have one of the focused Petite budget books that I've gone ahead and opened up, so you can see that it has some similarities, but it gives you more space. So on this coiled version, you have your lined important days of the month and this dashboard page. Whereas in the Petite Budget Planner, you just have your dashboard page, and then you have 1 page for your budget, and a lot more of it is predetermined. So if you are new to budgeting and you feel like you need more help and more prompting, this may be the version that would suit you better. But for what a lot of people like is to have more flexibility, and you certainly get more space, because in the Spiral A5 version, you're getting 2 pages versus 1. So that's something to think about. That's your main differences. And then in this Petite planner, you have, let's see, 4 spending summary pages, whereas in here you're going to get 6 total. So that's another big difference. There's no tabs in the Petite planner. And then your trackers, let's look at the back, because I know there are, let's see, yes. So these are just much smaller, and they start with debt trackers, so they're, 4 on 2 pages, and then 4 more, and I thought there was a savings tracker in here as well, but maybe just not in this newer version. Savings tracker at the front, so it's not really a lined tracker in this sense, it's just the little blocks at the beginning. So that's the main differences in these 2 things. You do get a sheet of the stickers in the Petite as well. Now this one I have had for many, many months, so if there is possibly some new tweaks with these with the new Petite planner launch from the fall of 2020, I have not ordered that, but I think they're relatively similar. This coiled version though is super, super functional. It's definitely very easy to turn. It's the same high quality coil that you may be used to from this brand, but it is much smaller than a Life Planner coil. So let me get a ruler and I will just tell you. So yeah, so it's just under an inch, right, just about an inch wide.
There's your flip through of the new A5 Coiled Budget book from Erin Condren. As I mentioned, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and make sure you come follow me on Instagram at Tammy Skipper to see what I'm doing for the giveaway, and to just be in that planner space and planner community with me on a more regular basis. I hope you guys have a great day. Happy budgeting. Talk to you soon.